Hi, this is Nick Bowcott with Sweetwater, and today we're looking at the Diezel VH4 Pedal. This is made in the USA and is a very accurate sonic representation of the third channel of the critically acclaimed VH4 all-tube hand-wired amp that's built in Germany and rose to prominence in the 90s and was used by bands such as Metallica, Tool, Korn, Stain, to name but a few. To give you an indication of how impressive this pedal is tonally, let's take a quick look at the amp without the pedal on. The amp I'm using, by the way, is the clean channel of the Blackstar Artisan all-tube combo, and I've got it set to a very flat neutral sound. Here's what it sounds like without the pedal on. As I said, very neutral, very flat response. That way you can hear exactly what the pedal's doing, which is, as you can hear, a lot. Now, as I've already mentioned, the VH4 head rose to prominence in the 90s and was used by the bands I just mentioned. The third channel was the one everyone wanted to use, and that's why they've made this pedal, because as you can imagine, a hand-wired all-tube amp made in Germany was not cheap. This is way, way, way more affordable, and it's very, very accurate tonally, and it feels great too. Now, the reason the third channel of the VH4 was held in such high regards was not only high gain, but the tremendous low-end oomph it had while remaining defined. It wasn't overly loose, it just had a nice, low, fat, girthy growl. And that's what this does. So let's take a quick look at the controls, shall we? As mentioned, this is laid out exactly like the controls on the third channel of the VH4. And by the way, if you've never seen a VH4, you'll recognize it because it has a very distinctive diagonal array of the 4 channels control knobs. So they go like that. So this is channel number 3, the third one down. It has a gain control, and even though it sounds pretty good at low gain settings, as Peter Diezel himself said, this is a high gain amp, so crank it. So as you see what I've just played, I had the gain at about 2 o'clock, which means I've still got 3 hours worth of gain more to go. These bottom 3 controls are the power stage, and the presence and deep, which are presence and resonance, they're both in an amplifier functions of negative feedback, so they can actually boost highs and boost lows. So this is active in the last output stage of the pedal. So passive, active. Now, the deep control is focused at 90 Hertz, whereas the bass control is 100 Hertz and below. But this control here is really focused at 90, and you'll hear it in a minute when I roll it up and down while chugging a low E. Presence is around 3 kilohertz. Treble is 5K and above. The mids are aimed at around 800, and the bass is 100 Hertz. So there you have it, a full sonic spectrum. But like I said, let's chug an E and listen to what deep is doing, because that really is the meat of the motion here, no pun intended. So here we go. I'm just going to chug an E. I'm tuned to A440, by the way. I'm not using any detuning to assist this with its depth. It doesn't need any help in going deep. This is as deep as it goes. So what we'll do is we will start with it at 12 o'clock, and then I'll just roll it back and forwards. So here we go. As you can hear, an awful lot of lows, and when that's added to all of this, that's where the magic of the third channel of the VH4, along with its great gain structure, really comes into play. This pedal comes with a 12-volt power supply, which is this bad boy here. Now it has 2 outputs. One is designed to go to the front end of an amp, which is how most people will use this. The other one can go to the power stage of an amp, and the folk at Diezel recommend when you're using the power stage control, let the power amp itself deal with presence and the depth as opposed to these controls. But most people, as I'm doing here, will probably use this at the front end of an amp, and why not? It sounds amazing. As you can see, it's a pretty large unit, and the reason for that is this is built with discrete components. It's not a bunch of tiny ICs. This has discrete, i.e. individual components, which is why it's a little bit large. And it's very light though. Even though it's big, it's sturdily built, but it's lightweight. It's built from lightweight aluminium, which is sturdy, but not overly heavy. And the tread plate here is pretty cool. It's been laser cut with the trademark D of Diezel. So it's an attractive beast as well, but most importantly, it sounds great. Now, for the intro, I was playing with the mid sucked out, which is pretty representative of the bands I mentioned who used this fine product during the 90s and still do actually, i.e. mid-cut. That smiley face that makes a frowny tone. So this is also great for lead. So I'm going to boost the gain a little bit and push the mids, and I'm not adding anything else. I'm not adding reverb, I'm not adding delay. It's the same flat response from the clean channel, the Artisan, and my Amiga Talent, and the guitar tuned to A440. And then before I sign out, I will go to a detuned guitar drop to whole tone with the E down to C, and we'll really chug it out to say goodbye. So here it is on lead. So once again, this is Nick Bowcott signing off. This is the Diezel VH4 pedal, available from Sweetwater. If you want to know more information, go to the website, or better still, call your sales engineer and he or she will walk you through it in all the detail you want. So I'm signing out with the Iommi signature Epiphone lefty tuned down to D with the D down to C, the low D down to C. So it's a nice meaty way of saying goodbye. So see ya.